City had to win to claim the title. Manchester United had won, and at the 90th minute, it looked like United were going to win the title, but then Dzeko scored, and then Aguero then obviously scored.
Yes, he did, and to hold my hands up here, the Dzeko goal, he beat me in the air and he scored. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm kind of ruining this for my team. And then for the Aguero goal, I was the last QPR player to touch the ball before he went in. So again, I was deeply concerned. But thankfully, from the perspective of QPR, we managed to stay up. And City won the game, and they won the league. But to really tell you about the emotion of that particular moment, for me personally, as that goal went in, I was so distraught by the fact the ball went into the goal that I didn't even know who scored the goal in that moment. You've got announcers saying everything, but I was so lost in the moment, I didn't realise. And I just shut off for some days afterwards. And it was only maybe 4 or 5 days later that I realised how big the moment was and who the goal scorer actually was. And it seems crazy, but unfortunately, on the field, we had the moment, but the gravity of the moment we probably didn't feel until probably a few days after.
But that's interesting. You say you shut down, Nedum, but you were safe in the end. QPR were fine. Obviously, it was Bolton who went down.
Yeah, it was, and it's crazy because in that game, at half-time, City were winning 1-0, and Bolton, I believe, were winning elsewhere. So we were actually set to be relegated. So we went in at half-time, we were doing a big team talk saying we have to go out there and beat Man City at the Etihad. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, we've got nothing to lose, let's go for it. But the odds are very heavily stacked against you. But as I say, we managed to win a game in the last minute the week before against Stoke City, and that was the goal which ultimately kept us up. Because this game, for as much as we were a part of it, our participation didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because City won and, our result didn't matter. But I guarantee you, as that third goal went in, you look and there's probably half of our team were on the floor because we think we've blown it. Wow. And for all the joy that City felt because they've won the league in the last minute, for us it was an equal opposite because we thought we got relegated in the last minute, but thankfully, it didn't mean much in the end.
Nedum, on the pitch, you were in the commentary box alongside Peter Drury, and of all the games you've commentated, that's got to be up there, hasn't it?
It is for emotion. This script went out the window so early that this should have been 4-0, or whatever it is, game done. You think about it, QPR were fighting, as Nedum said, for their lives. City were flying, they took the lead. Joey Barton got himself sent off, stupidly. So now they're down to 10 men. You look at the talent in that Man City side, and they're at home, but then somehow QPR take the lead. I've never seen a swing, and I was there with Peter Drury for the Premier League on the World Feed. I've never seen an emotion like it, and that last 20 minutes. City actually thought they had thrown the league away. Yeah. United had won at Sunderland, right? And I'd been saying during the commentary that the QPR had been defending so narrow and so deep because of the scenario that they lacked a physical presence. Then Dzeko come off the bench, that helped them with the balls into the box. Right, but then even when Dzeko scores from the corner kick and there's hope, I looked down at one point, from our commentary position at Roberto Mancini. He was on his knees on the chalk at the side of the pitch. His head, his chin literally was on the floor, right? He'd blown it. They had blown it. It was amazing. And then I didn't realise till I watched it back, Aguero actually started the move outside when it got to like 30 yards, 40 yards from the goal. It was Aguero that started it, and he flicked it into Balotelli, who got himself turned, somehow managed to make his way back in amongst so many red jerseys from QPR. He took a touch away past the defender who dived in. He could have went down for a penalty, stayed on his feet, and then beat Paddy Kenny, who had made save after save after save. He beat him at his near post, and I, honestly, Dan, having covered, internationals, World Cups, everything, Champions League, I've never seen the emotion swing in a game like that. And of course, QPR didn't, as Nedum said, QPR didn't know they were safe at the end, but on the pitch they didn't know. But the Mark Hughes and the coaching staff knew. The players didn't. They thought they'd blown it. And City, and it had to be him, Aguero. I think if that had fallen to Dzeko or Balotelli or any of them else, that doesn't go in. Yeah. The fact it fell to Aguero, the fact that he took that extra touch away from the defender, and then we know how well he strikes a ball to beat Paddy Kenny at the near post, who had made an unbelievable amount of saves. And Peter Drury, and I've been telling you this, one of the finest English-speaking commentators out there, I've never seen Peter so emotional, excited, and given the moment the correct words. Just, he encapsulated the whole game so well, and I don't think either him or I or anybody else on the ground thought it was ever going to pan out the way this was only going to.
Yeah.
This was going to be.
You're rocking up thinking 4-0.
Yeah, we're rocking up thinking, right, we know QPR are fighting for their lives. We've seen that, but they're going to get a couple of early goals, City. They're going to blow them away. The balloons will be going up, and then QPR will be reliant on what's happening elsewhere for the whole game. That is just not how it happened, and of course to be down against 10 men as well for the stupidity of the Barton sending off was just immense. And then for the 2 goals to happen when they did. And the shot went to Sir Alex Ferguson's face at Sunderland. Yep. He thought he'd won it. That made it even sweeter for the City fans. Ferguson thought they'd won it. And then it was taken from him, just like he took from so many in his time as United manager.
It's just interesting what Craig said, Ali, about just that touch that Aguero takes that not many would have done.
Well, first of all, after the analysis from Craig and the participation of Nedum, this is my personal conclusion. It's all Nedum's fault. It was all his fault. He lost this man.
It is 100%.
This is what happened.
100%.
And now the legend of Sergio Aguero has grown, and it's all because of Nedum. This is who we should blame. That's first thing. The second thing is, yes, the touch, the quality of the striker, the quality of a world-class player, the understanding that in that moment, any other mortal would have just put his laces through the ball and hope that something happens. And yet he has a presence of mind of taking the extra touch to create the little bit of space that he needed in order to find the back of the net in the manner in which he did. Let's not forget what the moment was. Let's not forget the finality of that particular play. If he scores, they win. They win the whole thing. If he doesn't score, they've blown it, as Craig just pointed out. So in the ability to slow everything down when everybody else is freaking out, and he slows it down to the point to where now he's able to make a decision in a fraction of a second, that's what tells you what kind of player Sergio Aguero is.
And Nedum, let's not forget the significance of this is so huge because it was their first league title in 44 years.
Yes, that's exactly right. But it kind of sums up the whole thing because that's why they brought him to the club. And for it to fall to him in that moment, you know, that was part of the plan. But as I look back now, it's crazy, really, isn't it? A league was won with basically the last kick of the last game that was in motion for that whole season. How things could have changed, how things could have been different if I maybe threw the ball to one of my teammates instead of one of theirs to start the attack for the 3rd goal. You know, it's crazy. But Sergio, what he's done for Man City is beyond spectacular. To have had a player who scored 250 odd goals, of which 180 have been in the Premier League, that's elevated City to a whole new conversation. Because when he was coming in, previous top goal scorers for the club in the Premier League, you're looking at maybe 40 goals. But he's exceptional. He's 4th all-time. And that goal he scored is a huge goal. But it kind of sums up who he is as a player, who he is as a person. And he stepped up in those big occasions. And they're going to miss him. But the club are, again, at a whole new level now. And the person, whoever comes in, they're tasked with trying to bring the club to that next level again. And I'd love to see who that is because they've got some mighty big boots to fill.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.